Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Shadow Dusknoir in the Open Great League, and this is going to be the second episode of hopefully my sprint to legend. And honestly, I didn't even check that before, but the leaderboards are only like maybe half of the leaderboards are legend yet, so it is kind of ridiculous on how little amount of people are actually up there yet. But we're going to have an interesting team here. You see already the team. There are going to be a few weaknesses. Could be, for example, Diggersby a weakness. The Dusclops can be a bit tricky, but those are the main two Pokemon that are going to be tough for this team. Some other Pokemon are going to be quite neutral, like Swampert and Marowak. But let's take a look here at the team that we have. We're going to have our Dusknoir in the lead. This is going to be our main Pokemon for this team. This is the Pokemon I wanted to showcase the most, because I do think that in the current meta, a Pokemon with a ton of fast move pressure is actually really good in order to kind of break the RPS of a lot of the teams. And you see it in other teams there as well with the Pokemon of Scissor, which is usually used in order to break RPS. Or like generally win the lead matchup and then try to RPS the opponent. But yeah, this is going to be our different Pokemon here basically with the Shadow Dusknoir, which honestly has so much potential in the current meta. We have Diggersby as our main Saystop, which you usually don't want to Saystop, to be fair. You rather want to win the lead with your lead and then rely on RPSing the opponent again. But yeah, if you have to swap, it's going to be most of the times Diggersby, which usually still has a lot of play against a lot of Pokemon. Here we're going to see now the Dynamic Punch coming through, a Shadow Dynamic Punch from our Dusknoir, doing a ton of damage against the opponent's Credilli. And I'm still going to use a shield here just because I don't want to have the acid damage against our Fairy type Pokemon. And so we are going to be able to get the KO and we can move on to the next opponent. Scissor against the Dusknoir. This is going to be a very solid one here for sure, where we're going to be able to just use a shield, and this is going to be perfect for us. Night Slash is coming through, and we can now see the Feraligatr coming in, and we should be in a very solid spot here again, as we are going to be able to just go ahead and swap into our Dedenne. Dedenne will be able to not outspeed them, but after going for one Parabolic Charge, we should be able to take a hit from the opponent as well here quite easily, and we would be able to then realign ourselves as well. As we will see here, the opponent is going to decide to use a shield again, which allows them to go for the Hydro Cannon here. But also, it doesn't really help them that much, as they're now going to go down here. Against our Parabolic Charge, Dedenne in the back, honestly, a very good Pokemon. This team itself was absolutely fantastic. I think I went 10-1 with this team, as far as I know. I tried some other teams before that didn't work out for like 3-4 battles, where I lost a tiny bit of Eno in the beginning. But I gained more than this back again. Again, this is going to be my try to get up to Legend in the next at least like 1.5 weeks, where we have Great League still available. Always still with different teams, but I want to really run teams that you can copy as well, that should get you some Elo. And this is the main idea behind this series. So I hope you enjoy the series. Again, give me some feedback down below. Give me some teams that I should try down below as well. And we can move on to the next opponent. I really enjoy, by the way, running Diggersby in the current meta, as Fire Punch, generally Fire type coverage is really amazing in what we currently are playing in, as, there are so many Pokemon that are double weak to it, like Scissor, like the Fortress. We have a lot of Steel type Pokemon kind of having a comeback now, but also just like the Ground type coverage helps out a ton as well, plus the insane bulk of Diggersby makes this Pokemon such a nice Pokemon to run. As we will see, they're going to go into their Wigglytuff now, which is exactly what we kind of wanted to have. We kind of wanted to get alignment, which we were able to get here, which is really nice. And with that, we are going to be able to have our Dedenne up against the Wigglytuff, where we have a very neutral matchup instead of having our Ghost type doing double resisted damage against the opponent here. And so whatever they have in the back, we're going to swap out, and luckily the Golurk, which is a team that I've seen recently quite commonly as well. And we are going to be able to go ahead and go for the shield, fully farm them down, and we can go for 2 Shadow Punches against the opponent's Wigglytuff. This is a bit of a risky play. They're very likely going to use a shield here, but I hope they're going to use 2 shields against us. But we're not too sure if this is actually going to be happening here right now. And as you can see here, the opponent is going to decide to let the next move go. Very smart play, but it's not over yet, because what we can do is we can go ahead and go for the full farm down here with our Dedenne. As a Swift is not going to be enough, we can go for the full farm down and we can win this battle. Drifblim is going to be next. This is going to be an interesting one, because you have different kind of ways of playing this one out. You can go ahead and go for your Shadow Punch, which is going to force the shield, but then they're going to be able to fully farm you down. So you can either decide to go for a charge move and get the shield advantage, which you're most likely going to lose afterwards anyway, or you're going to just not go for a charge move and try to get switch advantage. So Both ways are interesting ways of playing. I could see that it's better to just not go for a charge move at all. But here we're going to see a Diggersby against us in the back, and they're going to have a Drapion swapping in next. I am imagining that they are very likely going to use a shield here, but I have the player of Lostheart, which is like my main way of trying to win the battle later on, because I do think that having that player off later on is going to be the key to victory here, as what we can do then is we can just knock out or like do a lot of damage against the Diggersby with it. It has to run like 40% of the opponent's health as far as I know, and so yeah. As you can see, we are going to be able to go ahead and go for another charge move here very soon as well. We hope that we are not going to be able, they're not going to get the debuff here, which we are not going to be able to do there, which is great. We hope that we are of course going to get the debuff now, which we don't do. But what I'm deciding to do is I'm deciding to go for the Fire Punch. I just need to get this tiny bit of damage extra here, just in order to get into the player of range. Again, player of dust around 40% of the opponent's health, and so this is going to be a good game to the opponent. As far, I don't know if we actually lost already. I don't think we did. But as you can see here, they're going to still have a very great lead actually for us, but a Pokemon that we can already deal with afterwards. So yeah, this is going to be very, very awkward because we are going to be forced to go for a shield here. And yeah, this is going to be a bit of an awkward one for us. Totally here, as you're going to see, we're going to be able to go for the Shadow Punch. It is going to get the shield, but we're going to be forced to use another shield. While we still have 2 Pokemon to answer the Annihilate. Yeah, I don't know, like, we still have our Diggersby, and Diggersby needs to have alignment. We have to see what they're going to have in the back now. Good thing for us, though, which is the main thing why Dusknoir is so good. There is not a single Pokemon, other than one actually now, which is kind of hilarious because it's only recently changed, that can resist both of our moves there. There's only one Pokemon that can do that, and that is the Hisuian Zoroark, which is still going to take a ton of damage because it doesn't have bulk, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, as we will see here, we're going to have now Annihilate against Dedenne, and the issue is that we are one fast move away. I know that the opponent is very likely going to be able to win the CMP tie against us, and if they do, this is going to be a good game here. We have to see, can we still get to the Parabolic Charge? We cannot. We needed this move, otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, we will lose. We're going to lose this battle here. Unless this is going to knock them out as well. Maybe a Scorching Sand is going to be enough. Let's find out here. It is just barely not enough to knock them out. And again, I think if I played a bit better, I should have just went for one fast move against the opponent's Duns Boss and then swapped out straight away into my own Dedenne. I could have had the chance of winning this battle. I just kind of misplayed this one a little bit. So yeah, this was, I think, the first loss, and I think also the only loss that we had with this team. So let's see on how this is going to go here now against the Dusclops. What we can do is we can of course go ahead and go for our own Shadow Punch in order to force the opponent to go for their own shield, and I can catch a Shadow Punch again on our Diggersby. This is kind of how I want to play it out. As we will see here now, the Annihilate coming in, we're going to still be able to go for Scorching Sands, which might even allow us to get debuff onto the opponent's attack. We don't, that's alright. Let's see what they're going to go for. It is going to be the Ice Punch, which is actually better for us because now they should be in a perfect range where I can just farm them down with a Dusknoir. But I actually decided to go for a charge move. I think it was not really needed. So yeah, as we will see here, we are going to have now the swap very soon into our Dedenne. I'm going to swap out straight away. They're going to have the Jump Off coming in, and what we'll do is I'm just going to try to win with Dedenne now. And this is a cool thing about this team, and this is something that I had already before in different teams that I had Legend with as well, where you have different kind of playstyles with the team. Here you have either the playstyle that you go for a shield for Dedenne and try to win with a Parabolic Charge boost, or you're just going to try to go with fast move pressure of your lead. And that's like the beautiful thing about this team, like it has like so many kind of different ways of playing. The cool thing here as well is now we're going to have Dugong against us. We're actually going to be able to outspeed them. This is literally going to be super, super good for us. As we will see, we're going to have here now the Ice Wind coming through. That doesn't really matter to us because we are going to be able to outspeed them with a Dynamic Punch. And if they're going to go ahead and use a shield here, I'm still going to be able to win this in the 2-shield scenario. So as we will see, we're going to have the Ice Wind coming in. And as long as they're not going to try to catch the move, we're going to be alright here. They're going to catch the move onto the Gligar, but they didn't actually succeed with that. And so what I was able to do now is I was able to go ahead and get a ton of energy. A Dynamic Punch already stored for the Dugong for later on, but also a Shadow Punch stored against whatever else is going to come in. And so I have so much energy now on my Pokemon, and it's a Pokemon that has a solid attack stat, so very likely going to be able to win most CMP ties, that is going to work out super, super well for us later on. As we see here, Fire Punch is going to connect against the opponent. They swap out into the Dugong. They want to knock me out here. That is alright, because what I can do now as well, because I counted the opponent's fast moves, I know that I can go for the Parabolic Charge on the CMP tie now, get the KO, get the boost, have the energy advantage here, still have the energy on my Dusknoir, and they have their own Dedenne in the back where I know now I can just go for the play rough. And I think I just have to go ahead and go for 2 Shadow Punches in order to knock them out here. So the first one's coming through. And now I could even go for a Dynamic Punch afterwards if I really want to. We're going to knock out this Pokemon here. Against the Gligar, of course, Shadow Punch is going to be the better move anyway. And we're going to be able to win again here with our Dusknoir. It just showcases on how good this team is. Like, honestly, this team was absolutely fantastic. We have the Marowak against the lead, and we have to stay in here. As we know that we're going to have that one, charge move there. Well, there's one Pokemon here with the Dedenne which cannot take a charge move from the opponent. We kind of have to stay in here. But even if we're going to get the opponent quite low, it would be kind of cool, because then maybe even it's going to be in play rough or Parabolic Charge range later on. But they decided to catch the move here onto their Lapras, which is absolutely alright for me. I can go for the Parabolic Charge straight away, and this should allow us to hopefully get the KO against the opponent. But also we're going to now align ourselves here with a bit of energy, with a defense boost onto ourselves, and not having that Diggersby against the water type. And so we can let the Bone Club go through. I should have went for the Parabolic Charge here in hindsight. That was a mistake. Yeah, definitely a mistake, because it would have allowed us to get an easier farm down done against the opponent. We are forced to go for the no shield, of course. I'm forced to go for the Fire Punch now as well, which I should have not went for if I would have went for the Parabolic Charge, as far as I know. But they have the Drapion in the back. It's going to be a tough matchup for us to still win. I can go for the bait though. That is going to be a Fire Punch coming through. It is going to get shielded. And I can also catch the move here, but it doesn't work out. The opponent goes for their own charge move here. It's going to be, of course, the awkward tail. But can we go for the catch? No, we can go for the catch. We're going to be able to catch the move from the opponent. And they're going to go for the undercharge, but it's a bit too much of an undercharge. They're still going to be forced to take a hit here. And what this Shadow Punch allows us to do is we're going to be able to put them into Fire Punch range now, guaranteed. Or even farm down range. Both is fine. As long as I get a fast move or the charge move off here, I will win this battle. Both quick attack as well as the Fire Punch are going to do enough. And as you're going to see here, we're going to be able to go for the Fire Punch, win us this battle, and we can move on to the next opponent. Again, this team was absolutely fantastic. We have Credilli in the lead. Like, this is the thing with Dusknoir. Dusknoir can basically deal with nearly anything. We have the Feraligatr coming in. I'm actually going to let the first move go through, because I'm not really caring too much about alignment here. I guess I should have cared a little bit more about alignment here. Oopsie. But we're going to be able to go for the charge move anyway, knock them out, so that's alright. We have the alignment. We should be able to still get to even the play rough, even though they have super effective fast move pressure. It's non-step acid against us with boosted defense. And so the play rough is going to already get a chunk of their health gone from the opponent's Credilli. They sub onto the Mandibuzz. And they have Air Slash Mandibuzz, which I don't know if it really changes anything for that matchup. I know that we win against the other version of it, the Snarl version of it, quite easily with our Diggersby. But I'm fairly certain we're still going to be able to win this matchup here as well with Diggersby. Now, this is a beauty about this team. Like, this team really functions well against nearly any kind of Pokemon that you can encounter. It's a very tough team to deal with, and as you see here as well, the Fire Punch is coming through. That's going to allow us to do some solid damage again, and we just kind of chip away off the opponent. They got swap out here. We can swap out as well. We can go for the shield now, of course, guaranteed. We have to go for the shield here. It's going to be the Rock Tomb. That's all right. And we can, shield again. That is going to be a bit more tough now, as we kind of have to now overfarm by a lot. I know that I'm going to be able to at least overfarm by quite a bit here. And this Shadow Punch is coming through now, getting the KO. We're going to get another Shadow Punch through on the CMP tie, which is going to get the shield from the opponent guaranteed here. So it's now down to the Diggersby if we can win this battle. But from what I can see here right now, is that one Fire Punch will deal enough damage already to knock them out. We just need to get to 2 of them here in order to also get rid of the final shield from the opponent. But as we see, that Fire Punch is going to get the first shield, and we're going to still get to another one. This should be enough to knock them out. And with that, I can say good game to the opponent, and we can move on to the next one. Again, like, this is an absolutely fantastic team. Like, this team was working super, super well for me. We have here the Drifblim coming in. We're going to be able to go for a charge move against the opponent's Drapion. This is fantastic. The Dynamic Punch is coming through. We're going to get the shield advantage. Now we can go into our ground type in order to hopefully get the KO against the Drapion. I could see them going for a shield here, though, against us, but maybe they even get to the Aquatilia anyway in time, so there's no point really of going for a shield, I think. And so, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one here, as we have the KO coming up most likely, but we actually undercharge it perfectly for them. Sadly, they're going to be able to still catch us off guard here a little bit. That's kind of annoying. I was hoping I would be able to perfectly undercharge there, that they don't get to the awkward tail anymore. But as we see here, we're going to get the full farm with the Dedenne. Let's see what they have in the back. As long as it's not a ground type, we're fine. A charger bug. And what I just do here is I am going to go ahead and go for the parabolic charge spam. I don't even care about anything else, because what I know is at this point that Dedenne with all the boost will be able to take anything from the Charger Bug. Charger Bug cannot hit Dedenne at all. Like, there's nothing that Charger Bug can do against our Dedenne. And with that, we are going to be able to just go ahead and farm them down, go for the play rough, and win the battle. By the way, Charger Bug learns also Bug Bite, which is an interesting thing there as well. Bug Bite would allow you to do like a lot of more fast move pressure there, but I'm not too sure if it's going to be better than Volt Switch currently. Next up, we're going to have here Dusknoir against the Scizor. That's going to be an interesting one as well. This is going to be, again, a matchup where you kind of want to stay in, just get some fast move pressure in against the opponent. Just trying to break down, the opponent's lead there. And I do think that, they get the attack boost. The attack boost is actually kind of unfortunate. As we will see here, we're going to swap out. We're going to go for the full farm run against the opponent. We have to use a shield here, though. That is not ideal at all. This is going to be very, very tough. As we see here, we're going to beat our shield down, but they're going to swap out into the Bastion. That's going to be very tough as well. This is not going to be an easy one whatsoever. We're going to try our best to go for another parabolic charge. This is going to be alright, but we are not going to be able to really get our Dedenne out of the situation with anything that is really helpful for us. I overcharge here a little bit, nearly on purpose to be fair, because I know at this point I need to kind of go for a harder hitting move anyway. They're going to swap out into the Mandibus, which I didn't expect in the back there as well, but it's a tough one. It's a very, very tough matchup now for us. We have Mandibus, which has a shield advantage, and we have our Dusknoir, which tries to catch a move here, which didn't even work out. So, yeah. It is a bit of a difficult one here, as they're going to be able to go ahead and go for the Fire Punch, but I assume that they're very likely going to swap out into the Bastion very, very soon. And so what I would decide to do now is I'm going to overfarm a ton of energy just in case they're going to go into the Bastion, and so I have a little bit of energy already, and so that's why you see me here going up and up in terms of my energy, so I can go ahead and go for at least a Scorching Sands if they want to use a shield here, because if they shield Scorching Sands, they're going to shield more energy than what they do with the Fire Punch. But it's perfectly put them now into the farm down range for ourselves. We have now 2 Fire Punches stored. We need 3 though. If we don't get to 3 Fire Punches, we're not going to be able to win this battle. So we have to do it perfect in terms of the fast move alignment there. I do think I wouldn't see Impeta against the opponent, but it's going to be super, super close. And as you're going to see here, Fire Punch is coming through. We will be able to do a ton of damage against the opponent, knock them out, win the battle, and go 5-0 and a 10-1 run with this team here. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.